Swing and a drive.
Welcome to Red, White, and Blue Jays, the podcast home of Blue Jays Fans UK, a group connecting Blue Jays fans around the UK and beyond, and telling their story. And now, here's the host of Red, White, and Blue Jays, Steve Hunter.
Hello, everyone. Great to have you on board. So thankful that you've found us. My name is Steve from Blue Jays Fans UK, and I just want to welcome you to this brand new pod. This is something that I've been thinking about for a little while and just wondering how we could make it work. But my heart is, I love connecting with people, hearing people's different stories. And there's a whole load of you that I've managed to connect with over a number of years now. And I've heard some great stories, and I thought it would be fun to get a number of you guys on and to have a chat with you. And you can tell me some of your great Blue Jays memories and just games you've been at, or games you've watched, or stories you've heard yourself. So I'm really looking forward to, over the next little while, we'll see how it goes. We may end up with 5 pods, we may end up with more. I know a number of you have already contacted me about sharing your story, so I'd love to speak to you. But welcome, and tonight is our first guest. I'm so thrilled to welcome Meg to the pod. Meg, how are you?
I'm great, Steve. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Absolute pleasure. I mean, I think it's funny when in social media world, there's obviously lots of connections between Jays fans and so on, and we'll hear a little bit of your story further into the pod about how you connected into the Blue Jays group. But I'm sure people will recognise from your accent that you're not native to the British Isles. So tell us a little bit about where you are and what you do.
Yeah, so right now I'm in Canada, kind of between Toronto and Montreal. Right. I've grown up here my whole life. So yeah, but I am moving to the UK in the spring. So that will be my new home. But yeah, I'm very Canadian, I guess you could say.
So can you give us a bit of French as well, or are you English speaking?
Un peu de français, mais pas beaucoup.
Okay.
So yeah, I only know a little bit, but I'm not fluent in it. So
yeah. Well, yeah. It's great to have you on. So tell me a little bit about. I mean, obviously, growing up in Canada, I guess ice hockey is probably the big sport that most people are sort of led into in their early years. Was that your story, or were the Jays sort of right there from the get-go for you?
Yeah, hockey for sure is Canada's kind of big sport, but I grew up NHL, and then I went to my first Blue Jays game when I was about 10 or 11. So yeah, I mean, it's only a couple of hours drive to Toronto from where I am. So yeah, so it's not too bad. So I grew up around the Jays.
Yeah. Can you remember your first game?
Yeah, it was actually against the Yankees.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, and it was in 2004. And my parents took my brother and I, and we were sitting along the third baseline. And I just remember them shouting, like booing the Yankees and things like that. So that kind of sticks out of my head.
Yeah.
But definitely a game to remember, and it just kind of made me more into watching baseball.
Yeah, and so in terms of your family, I expect they obviously remember when the Jays were first formed in 1977. Was that an exciting moment for them in terms of getting a team? Obviously, in between Toronto and Montreal, of course, you had the Expos just up the road.
Yeah, actually, my dad was a big Expos fan. So so he started with them, and then obviously transferred over to the Blue Jays once the team formed. But so it kind of my dad was the influenced me with the Blue Jays growing up. So
yeah. And how does he feel about the potential of some sort of Montreal resurgence from the ashes? How does he think about that?
I don't know. I think he's like, intrigued by it, but I'm not sure how that's going to go, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the reason that you caught my attention was that I remember seeing, I think, a tweet of yours not so long ago about being at a certain game back in 2015. And I just thought I'd love to hear a little bit about leading up to that game in terms of your expectations. Had you been to many games in 2015? Obviously, there was massive momentum behind the Blue Jays that year. They'd won the AL East quite comfortably. I think there were 6 games, if I remember rightly, ahead of the Yankees that season. So what were your thoughts and expectations sort of heading towards postseason that year? Had you gone to any of the other games?
Yeah, like it wasn't until really 2014 when I was paying more attention to the games and, you know, watching more on TV and stuff. So I know, like, I took a big liking to like Donaldson and Stroman and you know, Pilar and everyone that, you know, kind of made the team those few years. But yeah, I would say I'm trying to think if I went to like 3 games that season in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know I went to definitely more than just the big game, but yeah, I think I went to a couple with my friends that year. So
excellent. And they were a great team, weren't they? You know, it was obviously the big year of the trade and so on, and suddenly there was momentum behind the Jays going in towards the end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I remember just watching them leading up to that, and I didn't know if I'd be able to get tickets, but right when they went on sale, I managed to grab some. So excellent.
So going into postseason then, it was a bit of a bumpy ride, wasn't it? Because they were at Rogers Center for the first 2 games, and then down in Texas for the next 2. And they lost, of course, their first 2 home stand games. And so you didn't go to any of the other games. You only went to Game 5. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just Game 5.
So what was the mood like around you after those first 2 losses?
Well, I think I bought the ticket like right. I don't know, like, because they go on sale and then I think you get a refund if they don't make it or something. So that's right. I remember I had the ticket. And right when they won, when I knew that there was going to be a Game 5, I was like freaking out and stuff. And I was like, I guess I'm headed to Toronto on Wednesday, because I think that was the day it was. Yeah. And but I didn't know how it was going to go, to be honest.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. And of course, then they go down to Texas, and they manage to steal those 2 games and bring it back to the all important 5th game in Toronto. So talk me through your emotions of the day. Did you, I don't know, did you take the whole day? Did you know, make a big party of it going down?
Yeah, my dad and I went up, and we were so excited on the ride up there. And then basically the atmosphere was something I'd never ever seen before. It was crazy, but our seats weren't that good. They were like up on the 500 level, the nosebleed section, as people call it. And so we didn't have the greatest view or anything, but we were in the outfield. And so it didn't really matter at that point, though, just to be there. We were lucky enough. So yeah, it was, the stadium was packed, obviously. And all I can remember is just the atmosphere. Like, that's just what stands out in my head. So yeah, we got there and got our seats and everything. And then just the game started, and it went from there. Like, it was crazy. And like, I remember, you know, pressing record on my phone all the time because I didn't know what was going to happen. And
gonna miss it.
And so I managed to, you know, get on video when it all went down. But I mean, you can't really see the Batflip from way up there, but we knew what was going on, because obviously the bases were loaded. And So
that seventh inning was crazy, wasn't it? There
yeah,
was all the drama, even before Jose got up and did his thing. There was the drama of Russell throwing back the ball, hitting Juice's bat, a door running in, and the ump calling it a run. Then it wasn't a run, and it was a run, and then it wasn't a run. What was that like?
Yeah, it was all over the place, to be honest. It was, like all these things happening, and you don't know what to make of it, if they'll score any, or if Texas was gonna come up and take the lead or anything. So yeah, it was like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was a lot to take in, for sure.
And what was the mood around the ballpark at that point? I remember it was about 2:30 in the morning here. Because obviously evening game, and I remember I was watching it with my eldest daughter, and I remember saying to her, I said, we can't lose on that. We cannot lose the game on that moment and that call. And I just, suddenly all my elation of watching the game just sunk to the floor in a moment. Was that sort of being reflected around the ballpark?
Oh yeah, like there were a lot of boos and like odor, and everyone was just on their feet. Like most people were standing up, to be honest. You couldn't sit down at those moments, so we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, and then there was all the sort of the bottle throwing and can throwing. I'm trying to remember when that was. I can't remember whether it was at that moment, or maybe that might have been a bit later in the game. But that all got rather exciting, didn't it? In terms of
I kind of forgot about that moment with all the can throwing, and then I think there was a window because I think one of the hotels or whatever is in the Rogers Center. It's kind of at the top there. I believe somebody was like putting out a mattress or something. Like they were throwing things out of their window, and it got a little intense. So and there were a lot of police on the field, and it was a bit crazy.
I mean, certainly the broadcasters were making a meal of it in terms of their commentary at the time, and there was all the debate of whether the players should come off the field or stay on the field, and all that going on. So so Jays get back on or come back into the bottom of the seventh. They're obviously down, and then there's this series of errors that the Rangers commit, which loads the bases, and it feels like they're all fairly straightforward plays, normal run-of-the-mill plays that 9 times out of 10 any of them would make it. But for whatever reason, on that night, they just kept making those errors. I mean, again, what can you remember of that moment?
Yeah, the errors for sure. Like we weren't sure if they'd get out of what they were what errors they're making and stuff. But we just remember being on our feet and cheering them on, and hoping that hopefully that Texas would not gain any more runs or anything, because it was the seventh inning and we didn't know what was going to happen.
Sure. So, and then Jose comes to the plate, and it was a moment made for him, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Honestly, what stands out in my head is the chant. It's Jose, Jose. That just that's in my brain forever. So that was I didn't even know what to expect, and then he walked up to the plate, and the rest is history. So
I mean, it was an extraordinary hit. I think for me, I've watched a lot of sport in all sorts of different sporting events and so on. I think that was probably the most intense moment in what I can remember of any sport. And I think because of the storyline of what happened leading up to that moment, I think if it just been a grand slam, I mean, it would have been an amazing moment, of course, but I think it was because of all the drama of the seventh inning and all that happened, and this weird thing that happened with Russell, and what happens? Is the ball alive? Is it dead? And nobody seemed to really know quite how to score that play, and it was just
exactly.
It's just an incredible moment. So Jose hits the ball out of the park. What's it like in the stand? I mean, what is going on?
Everybody's just screaming and, on their feet, and there were probably cans being thrown. Well, I don't know if people would throw cans then, but like people were just like going crazy. And so, just the chant, and everyone turned around and high-fived each other. The atmosphere was something you'll never forget. So.
Yeah. And I think there was, I haven't watched it for a while now. I need to go back and watch it. But I think there was a moment where Edwin came out off the bench and tried to calm people down. And I think, and I think the Rangers were thinking he's trying to wind people up. And there's a bit of bench brawling going on as well. So I mean, it was all happening. And then fast forward to obviously to the end of the game. I mean, those celebrations were just unbelievable, weren't they?
Yeah, just like leaving the stadium. I don't think everyone wanted to leave. They wanted to stay, and so when we were leaving, people were just high-fiving each other, just singing and cheering on the Blue Jays. And then when we got into the street, that was crazy. Toronto was just like electric. Cars were honking their horns, and people were again high-fiving. You didn't know strangers on the street. Just everyone was just so happy, and it was something you'll never forget for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What was your dad like? Was he jumping around like everybody else, or was he?
Yeah, actually I was the one who got him the ticket, so I think and I was gonna take my brother because he was living in Toronto at the moment, or at the time, right? But he was busy, and so he said he regrets that he didn't take that ticket. So, but my dad's he said he'll never forget that, and to be at it with his daughter and things like that. So so he I think actually the game we went to this year, he hadn't gone to a game since that big game. So so it was big for him. Yeah.
I hope he's got the ticket framed in a frame on the wall, and it's pride of place.
Yeah, for sure he does. Yeah.
Sorry, we have to redo that. I just dropped me thing and I lost you. Let's just do that one again.
Oh, that's all right.
That's right. I'll just ask you that question again. Okay. So I hope your dad's got the ticket framed somewhere in pride of place at home.
He definitely does, with all his other Jays gear and all that. So
yeah. No, excellent. And so going into the 2016 season, from obviously the elation of winning that game, but obviously not going all the way. What were your expectations as you went into 2016?
Yeah, I was hoping that they'd get to where they did the year before, but expectations were, I guess, kind of high, but at the same time, I know that a lot of changes had to be made and things like that. So and the coaching and all that. So I was hoping that they'd do really well that year, and that's all you can hope for, I guess. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's fast forward to this year. Be great to just get a few thoughts in terms of how you've seen this last season. What were your hopes going into 2021? Obviously, last year we had that shortened season. It was difficult to get a real feel for how things were going to be. But I think we saw some glimmers of hope, particularly with, sort of Vladdy and Bo and the team. What were your genuine hopes for 2021?
Well, with COVID hitting, it was kind of hard to really know, but I was just excited to, especially when they were able to come back to Toronto because of our guidelines in Canada. that was a disappointment that they were, in Buffalo for half the season or however long they were there for. So yeah, when I think it was June or July when they came to Toronto, that everyone just wanted tickets, and everyone was excited to see Bo and Vladdy play for the first time in Toronto. So that was a lot of feelings for sure. I was hoping that they would get farther than they did, but I'm still pleased with how things went. I just wish, if things went a little differently in the beginning of the year, if they won a few more, then they could have been in the playoffs, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think for me, I think playing away from Rogers Centre was a massive thing for them. I can't remember. I did hear how many games it was of like they were playing on the road because of playing first. Of course, they were down in Dunedin, then up in Buffalo.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a massive chunk of games that they're effectively on the road, and I think that had a big impact on them. I think you think just not the physical playing in a different ballpark, but I think all the other stuff that we often don't think about in terms of family life and how living out of a suitcase all the time is really hard going. So I think that definitely had an impact. I remember thinking myself going into sort of tail end of August where it felt like they were just drifting off the pace a little bit. So they didn't have a great August. And then they had this most sensational September run. And then and then dashed all our hopes at the end of it.
I know.
So frustrating, wasn't it?
It was very frustrating. Yeah.
I don't know what it's like with you, but it was fun for us to have all the games on that last day at the same time, both East Coast, West Coast games. Also, I think that made a big deal of the day. I think it was great fun.
Yeah, I agree. It was September was a crazy month for them. So I'm glad I got to see at least one game, especially when they won. And it was in September, so that was a good game to be at for sure. Yeah,
totally. And hopes for next year. Where do you feel we're going to be?
Hopes for next year. I just hope that they, stay on the positive path that they're on, and just get a lot of wins in, and hopefully we'll keep some, I hope Ray and some of the guys Toronto will still have them, but it's so hard to say with the trades and all that, but I know a lot of the players are young on the team, and they have a lot of promise for them, so I think next year will be a really good year for them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the fact that the core group of players are coming back and that we don't have to worry about where they're going to go. Obviously, the Robbie Ray and Marcus Simeon situation is the big ones, isn't it? In terms of whether they can get either of them or both of them or neither of them. I think it'd be really interesting to see how the off season. Have you got a preference over those two who you prefer to see back?
It's hard to say because I know the Jays do need some good pitchers. That is always, something that they've struggled with in the past. So, but Semion's such a good player that I would like to see him back for sure.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Great stuff, Meg. Right, well, we've just got a couple of things to sort of, as we sort of draw to close. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today just to chat through your story. And I'm really hoping that what people have heard is going to inspire them to get in touch and come and chat about their Blue Jays stories. Just tell us a little bit how you connected into the UK scene. Obviously, you mentioned at the top of the pod that you're moving to the UK or to Scotland. Just tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing in Scotland.
Yeah, so I've always had, a love for the UK. I've been to London a couple of times. I actually went last year right before COVID.
Okay.
And then my friend, she was teaching in Leeds for a little while. So in 2017, I went there with my friends and we went to Ireland for a couple of days.
Nice.
But I'd never been to Scotland. My grandfather was born there actually. And so he was born in Paisley. So I feel like there's a connection there that I need to test it out. And lived there for at least a year or two, or however long it may be. But yeah, and I have a big like passion for history and genealogy and that kind of thing. So I'm hoping that over there, work-wise, I can get into that. And yeah, and then I connected with you guys, and because I was looking to see like what is the fan base like over there for the Blue Jays, because I have all these like Blue Jays hats and things, and I'm like, if I'm wearing them over there, am I going to see other people and stuff? So so yeah, then I came across you guys and connected, and that's how it all worked out. So
yep, and here we are. Are you
exactly.
are you prepared for the middle of the night games that we all have to ordeal over here?
Well, I guess I'll have to be. I mean, I'm kind of a night owl, so I don't think it will be too much for that. So
yeah. There's plenty of us that spend a lot of time in the wee hours watching baseball, so you certainly won't be alone. And there are a whole load of Jays fans in Scotland, and I think we've already connected you with a couple of them, but I'm hoping that perhaps if they listen to this, they'll get in touch with you and reach out to you and welcome you. You're heading to Glasgow, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, we wish you well with your move. Right.
Thank you.
Couple of things that we're going to do just to tie off. I'm going to give you 10 questions.
Okay.
So this is just to get your first thoughts. You don't have to think about it too much. It's not going to be hopefully too testing, but I'm going to try and do this with everybody who comes on and see how we go. So, okay, here we go. So question number 1, your favorite player from 2021?
Vladdy.
Okay.
Vladdy for sure, yeah.
Yeah, you had to say that. Who's your favorite player of all time?
Ooh, it's a good one. Well, I'm just going to say I was a big Donaldson fan, and I don't know if he'd be of all time, though, because, I mean, I was born in 1992. So, I mean, when they won the World Series that year, there were a lot of, like Roberto Alomar and, all those guys. But, yeah, that's a tough one. I was big Pilar fan and Donaldson fan when they were on. So I guess it'd be one of those guys. Yeah.
And your favorite non-Blue Jays player?
Ooh. I guess I would say, can I say, I liked when, I'm just trying to think. I was going to say Martin, because when he was because he was from Toronto. Yeah. But I do like the Dodgers. I was lucky enough to go to a Dodgers game when I was there in LA one year.
All right.
So could be a player on that team. I know. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Okay, we'll go on. Your favorite ballpark away from Rogers Centre?
Well, the only other ballpark I've been to be honest, is the Dodgers Stadium. Yeah. So I'm just going to go with that one.
Going to go for that. Okay. Your favorite baseball food?
Ooh, gotta love a good in Canada, the poutine that we have. Yeah. Or just like a hot dog.
Okay.
That's
pretty traditional. Food. Yeah, that's very safely played there.
Yeah.
Your favorite drink at a ball game?
I always go for a beer usually.
Go for a beer. Yeah, that's nice and safe. Yeah. Day game or night game?
Ooh. I do like the day games because of the travel. Just being a couple of hours. We go on the GO train, so it's from Oshawa to Toronto, and then so I would say probably day games.
Day games. We love day games as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Your favorite Jays jersey color?
Ooh, I really like the kind of baby blue, light blue, that kind of color. Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Okay. 2 to go. Your favorite baseball jersey number?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with 11.
Okay, is that Mr. Pilar?
It was him, but now Bichette is
of
is
course
11, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd go with 11. Yeah.
Okay, and roof open or roof closed?
Ooh, roof open for sure. You can never beat like a nice sunny day in Toronto with the CN Tower right there, and yeah, so it's cool that we get a ballpark that can do that. So
absolutely brilliant, Meg. It's been so much fun to have you on today. Thank you so much for being the willing participant in first come on to this pod. It's been excellent to talk to you. Where can people find you on social media? Do you want to give us some of your various social handles?
Sure. So I'm on Twitter and I'm at Meg Ouellet 92. I'm also on Instagram at Meg_Ouellet. So those are kind of my handles there.
Excellent. Meg, thank you so much, and we'll catch up soon. I'm sure we'll be speaking to you again once you get to the UK, but we wish you well for now. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
The Red, White, and Blue Jays podcast is a production of Blue Jays Fans UK. If you've got a Blue Jays story to share, let us know. Email us at bluejaysfansuk@gmail.com. And follow along on Twitter and Instagram at Blue Jays Fans UK. I'm your announcer, Jim Langton. Thanks for listening.